Hello everyone, my name is Angelo Van Toorn from Academy of Pastry Arts Malaysia, and today I'll be showing you guys how to do a chocolate fondant cake. It's a very easy dessert to do. I think anyone can do it at home very easy, and it's going to be nice. We only have a very few ingredients and the cook time is going to be very quick. So in this case we can go ahead and we can get started. So here we have sugar, normal granulated caster sugar. We have whole eggs, we have butter, we have dark chocolate, and we have some cake flour. So we're gonna start first. We have here bain-marie, so just a little bit of warm water. We have a KitchenAid bowl. We're going to add our sugar and our eggs into the KitchenAid bowl. And then we're gonna whisk them, bringing the temperature up to around 55 degrees. What this is going to do is going to allow us to dissolve some of the sugar, so it's going to whip up more nicely. Okay. So you can use a hand whisk. I'm using the same whisk that comes with a KitchenAid. You know, save yourself some dishes at home, very easy to do. So we just stir and dissolve. My water is not boiling. We don't want to cook the eggs, we just want to warm them up. So we just get this going. We can check the temperature with an infrared thermometer, or a probe thermometer will also work as well. So about 30 degrees. Now I'll be using a stand mixer to make this cake, but if you want, you can do also just with a hand whisk. A little bit more work, you know, get your work out while you're at home, but just for the easiness and faster, we're going to use a stand mixer to make this. Continuously whisking, don't let the eggs just sit in one spot. You don't want to cook the eggs. So just gently warm them up so we'll get a nice whip inside the machine. Okay, almost there. Just continue whisking. So once you reach the appropriate temperature, we can remove and we can put onto our stand mixer. And we're whisking on a medium speed. Meanwhile, while this is whisking, we're going to take our chocolate and our butter and we're going to combine them and melt them into the microwave. So just 1 or 2 minutes to melt in the microwave. Now, in order to make this cake, we have to prepare something to bake it inside. So here we're going to use these metal rings. You can use a different size or other thing to bake inside, but depending upon the size of your ring, depends upon the baking time. So we have these here. I also have some paper, which I pre-cut. We need 2 sheets of paper. One that's going to go underneath the ring. And then one that's going to go around the circumference of the ring. 8 strips. This is just normal parchment paper or baking paper. You can see here I have 2 rings prepared, but I'm going to prepare the rest of these as well. So our butter is melted. You can stir in with our dark chocolate. Just to combine nicely and melt all the chocolate. Make sure there's no lumps. Like I said before, this is very fast, very easy to prepare. Just a little bit of mise en place and preparation beforehand is going to help. So, we're going to take our parchment paper, put our ring on top of our little parchment squares. Now take our strip. The strip is cut just a little bit longer than the circumference of the ring, as well as a little bit taller because the cake will rise a bit. Okay? No specific height or width, just make sure it fits the ring nicely. So we're going to take a little bit of oil spray. Spray the inside of the ring just to help the parchment paper stick inside. And we're going to come and then place, if your parchment paper has this little edge on it, put that on the outside, not touching the cake. So it's going to go like this. So come in. And another one. Just place inside the ring. Nicely. Because I have the oil spray, the paper will help stick to the ring so it's not falling inside. So now we can see our eggs have whipped up nicely. We can get what we call a nice ribbon stage. The batter looks nice and smooth, not a lot of large and small air bubbles. This is one of the reasons why we whipped it on a medium or low speed. You whip it high speed, you can develop a lot of uneven air pockets inside. So now I can go ahead and I can add the chocolate and butter mixture. All at once is okay. And now we're just going to start mixing. Now it's okay, you're going to deflate the batter a little bit, mixing in this chocolate. It's not a big deal, just make sure it's mixed in nicely. No chocolate.
Chef Angelo, we have a question.
Yes.
Are you actually blending it or mixing it or folding it?
Just mixing. I'm not folding. You can see if I was folding, I'd want to be very, very gentle. Okay, here I'm just mixing it very, very well. Once I start adding in the flour, I'll be a little bit more gentle, but I'm going to deflate a little bit. This cake is a little bit more heavy and gooey on the inside, so we knock a little bit of the air out. It's not going to make a huge effect on the cake, as if we were going to make maybe a chiffon or a genoise, something we want to keep more of the air inside. This is not the same case. You can see I'm being a little bit rough on here. It's okay. Okay, so once it's all mixed in nicely, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold in the flour. So here I have some cake flour, low protein flour. We're looking about 7 to 9% protein. When it comes to cake and bread making, you want to, for pastries, generally use a lower protein flour. It's going to give more of a soft mouthfeel to the pastry. As opposed to a high protein flour, when it's mixed, it develops what we call gluten, and it's going to make the cake more tough. A little bit more flour. So just sift it. The batter's quite light, so you'll notice the flour is just resting on top. Like I said, this cake is very easy to do. The only maybe tricky part is when you're baking, and even then, it's not too difficult. There's no kind of really difficult techniques you have to worry about at home. You're gonna mess it up. Only be careful during the baking. Okay, so now I'm just folding in the flour using a rubber spatula, scraping down the side. make sure there's no kind of lumps of flour inside. Otherwise, when we bake it, you'll cut open, you'll see the lump of flour. Okay, so that's it. The batter part is done. Like I said, it's very, very simple. So no need to be worried or intimidated you're making this one at home. Okay. So now we're going to take our batter and we're going to put it into a piping bag so that we can pipe it into our ring. So here, just pour into the bag. It's helpful if you have some kind of cup or jug to hold the bag when you're pouring. Just make life a little bit more easy, not try to hold the bag with one hand and then pour with another. So now, we come with our pastry bag. We're going to cut the tip and we're going to pipe into the mold. We're going to pipe it about 75% of the way full. Now, because we whip the eggs nicely, our batter has a little bit of air to it, a little bit of viscosity. It shouldn't start pouring out the side. You may see a little bit coming out the side, it's okay. But if it's all pouring out the side, your batter's too liquid. Either you didn't whip enough or you overfold it. But like I said, it's pretty easy to do this one. A little bit more batter to go here, just inside the last cake. This recipe should give you about 6 small cakes. For a half recipe, 6 small cakes. And again, depending upon the size of your ring, will depend how many cakes you can do. Okay. Now, we have the batter made. We're going to want to put it into the refrigerator for at least an hour. We want to let the batter kind of cool down, so when we bake it inside the oven, the center is going to be cold. It's going to help us keep the liquid texture of the cake. Place in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Here you can see I have some cakes that have already been resting. This has been about an hour. You can see the chocolate has already set and the butter has already set inside. If I go ahead and I pick it up, it's not coming out. It's not liquid anymore. I touch it, it's quite firm. Okay, everything is gonna bake from the outside to the inside, which means if it's cold, the outside will start baking. The inside is gonna have a longer time for it to remain liquid, which is what we want. There's 2 ways that we can do this kind of cake actually. One way is the way we're doing with kind of a semi-cooked inside, where the inside is gonna be the batter that's cooked and pasteurized from the heat, but it's gonna melt out. Another way that we do is we also can make a ganache. We can make some type of truffle ganache and put it inside the batter. This way, make it, the ganache will still melt out. But that's gonna be an extra step. This way is fast and it's not too difficult. At 80 degrees, we're going to take the cakes, we're gonna put onto a tray, and we're gonna put in the oven. Now, it's going to take about 12 minutes to bake at 180. I start at 11, I can check. Before you do this, I suggest that you take 1 cake and you bake it first. Because depending upon how cold your cake is, how hot your oven is, the size of the ring that you're using or what you're baking inside, it's going to affect the baking time. If you don't bake enough, when you come and try to remove the ring, the inside is going to be too molten and it's going to break. If you bake it too much, when you go ahead and then you cut it, it's completely baked cake and then there's going to be none of the kind of molten chocolate that comes out. So always, even if I was doing this in a hotel, we'd always take before the shift starts, we put 1 cake inside the oven, we just check the baking time, we break it open, a nice texture. We're going to follow the same procedure for the rest of the cakes as well. Now, meanwhile, we can prepare our plate for when it comes out. So I have a little bit of chocolate that I'm going to melt. I'm not tempering this chocolate. I'm just going to make some design on the plate, so there's no temperature. Normally for tempering chocolate, we're looking for certain temperatures to make sure the chocolate sets nicely. In this case, I'm just going to do a little bit of decoration on the plate, so I just need the chocolate melted. And again, for this, I'm using dark chocolate couverture. When the cake comes out, we're going to need an offset spatula to lift up the cake. We'll have a spoon because we have some ice cream that we're going to plate it with as well. And here I have a little bit of crumble. We can just use also to put the ice cream on the plate. We'll need something like the crumble to put on the plate to protect the ice cream from the temperature of the plate. If your plate is cold, your ice cream will stay for a little while. But the second it starts to get warm up, the ice cream will start to slide all over the plate. So it's very helpful to have something like a crumble or some kind of foiltine, whatever you like, that you can put on to rest the ice cream on as well. Now, for the chocolate there's no butter inside this chocolate. So I want to be careful when I'm melting it. If I just try to go ahead one long time inside the microwave, very easy the chocolate can burn. More easy if you're using milk or white chocolate, they burn even easier. So not a very high temperature, and don't just go ahead and microwave it for 5 minutes and just walk away. Your chocolate's going to burn. Okay. So just a little bit, and then mix. And I think we're okay. So just mix it until the chocolate melts.
Chef Angelo, you've been working with the Academy of Pastry Arts for 5 more years.
Yes, yes.
How's the time in 5 years?
I really love the Academy and I really love Malaysia. This is not a paid advertisement. I've come from the United States. I've been here for 5 years in Malaysia working for the Academy, and I think it's really good. I've always wanted to teach. I love teaching, I love pastry, and I love sharing that to the students. I love seeing the next generation of chefs that are going to be coming up, taking my spot, so hopefully one day I can also retire. It's also good because we have so many chefs that come into the Academy. We have friends of many famous chefs, MOFs, master chefs. They come in, we get to meet these people, they share their techniques with us, we pass it on to share with our students. So, I mean, I have to say the Academy is a really great place to work, to be a student, and Malaysia as well. Malaysia is doing very well for me.
There's a lot of hype about Asia Pastry Forum. I believe you must have seen the Asia Pastry Forum.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about it?
It's one of the best parts about my job, besides seeing the students. The Asia Pastry Forum, it's really good. I can't stress enough. I've worked in hotels for so many years before this. And working in a hotel, you don't have the opportunity so much to go out and see these kind of chefs. Because sometimes you'll do a class here or there, but here in the Asia Pastry Forum, we have so many chefs coming at one time. Even for you're working in a hotel or a shop, we have a whole month going to master classes. At least at one time, you can probably get a time off to come see one of these chefs and learn something. You know, even I'm constantly learning from them. We're seeing some kind of things, and we get to see what's going on. We have chefs from France, chefs from Taiwan coming, you know, chefs that are from Italy, chefs from the United States, flying in Canada, flying all over the world. So even though we see this chef might be French, and this one's French, but this one's working in Canada, this one's working in US, this one's working in Singapore. So when they come, we get to see what they're making there. So we know the market that's in Singapore, we know the market that's going over in Canada and all over the world. I can't say there's a single place that's doing such a large event with so many chefs at the same time. So it's very lucky I work here, I get to see this, and anyone that comes, I think they're always very happy. I stay in touch with many of the students who work in hotels, and they always tell me I can't wait to come next year, or they mention, oh, I'll see you next year at Asia Pastry Forum, or I'm coming for this class. So it's a really good event. And I am honestly very excited about it. I know it sounds like I'm just trying to sell, but really, generally passionately from my heart, I think it's a very good event to do. Okay, so this is melted. I have about 6 minutes left on the cake. I'm going to take a little bit of the chocolate and put it into the center of the plate here. Now, you don't have to you can do any kind of decoration you want. I just picked this because it's very, very easy to do. I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to spin it. Put the plate in the center. Spin. And with the brush, just make the center like this. Very simple. And again, not even need to temper the chocolate. Your room's cool enough, the chocolate will set. So I have a little bit of the crumble here. This is also very easy to make. Maybe another demo coming. So we'll put a little bit of crumble on the plate just for a place to put our ice cream. Now you can also do this with white chocolate or milk chocolate, anything you want. Okay, so not a lot, just a little bit. And then just before I put the cake, I'm gonna put the ice cream. When the cake comes out of the oven, we have a certain amount of time that we can serve it. Depending upon how far baked it is, when it comes out, the cake is gonna continue baking. So if I take the cake and I just leave it sit, eventually the inside of the cake, the molten part's gonna bake a little bit more, and also the cake will start to absorb a little bit. So when it comes out of the oven, I wanna try to have everything ready for my plate, put it on, and then I can start serving it right away. So here we go. Just about 4 more minutes to come out of the oven. And I'm gonna look so the top is set, but it's still a little bit shiny. It shouldn't look very, very dry. Then I'm gonna have to worry about the inside of the cake being baked too much. Now, if you could pass me a little bit of ice cream. I have some vanilla ice cream to go ahead and put on here. Thank you very much. So here we have some vanilla ice cream. Now, you can go ahead and buy the ice cream at home, is fine. Actually, before this, I forgot I had some ice cream already made, but I actually went to the store and bought some ice cream to put on here as well. But we use some of the homemade vanilla ice cream. We have a spoon, and we call a quenelle. Okay, so we're gonna want to use a spoon. The spoon's actually a little bit short for a quenelle, but we can still get a nice one. We want a spoon that has a little bit of a curve to it. Now, there's a few ways to doing. Sometimes you'll see they take a quenelle, if it's like culinary mashed potatoes, they'll use 2 spoons and go like this. Sometimes people will roll it up onto the side and then put as well. The way that I learned, and I think is quite easy, is just with 1 spoon. We'll use a little bit of the warm water to kind of help soften the ice cream. We're gonna come and push the ice cream to fill the spoon and then turn it on its axis. So the idea is to come push into the ice cream, fill the spoon with the ice cream. If this is an axis, we're gonna come, take it, turn it, and then pull out. So this water is still a little bit warm. Okay, clean water. Come and check. Okay, if this ice cream is nice texture, but if it is a bit hard, you can also come and you can soften. I'm just showing you, but this texture of the ice cream is still is pretty nice. Okay. Now, try not to do and take a bunch of water and put the water in the ice cream. You're gonna get water in your ice cream, you're gonna freeze it again, you're gonna get ice crystals. I see it a lot. So I'm coming and all this water, put in the ice cream, make the quenelle, and next thing you know, you have a little swimming pool or ice rink in the inside. So we're gonna come, we're gonna push forward to fill the spoon, rotate it on its axis, and then pull out to get a nice quenelle, okay? Then if it's stuck to your spoon, you can use your hand, the heat from your hand, to warm it a little bit. And it can come right off onto the plate, just like this. Now, like I said, the spoon's a little bit small, but we can also use a larger spoon or smaller spoon to get different sizes of the quenelle as well. Of course, you can use an ice cream scoop, but just to make it a little bit more modern, the quenelle is quite nice. Okay, and it's very easy. Okay, just 2 more minutes coming out. Everything is ready to go. Also, you can see here, when I did the plate, I also had a little bit of towel on here. So when I spin it, the plate's not gonna shift. So a little bit of a wet tissue, just inside to be nice. Okay. So just 1 more minute. Okay, now this is the part that I said can be a little bit tricky, is taking it out, serving it, and removing it. Other than that, you see the whole thing is really, really easy to do. Just leave it in for that last minute. I look inside the oven now, I can see the cake still a little bit wet on top. If it's not baked enough, be worried when we take it off, very easy to break. Now, if it does break a little bit when you take it off, it's also not the end of the world. You serve it to your person. It's now deconstructed chocolate fondant cake. So we come and check. I'm going to add just another 2 minutes on here because I see when I shake it, it's still very, very jiggly. So like I said, just you have to watch the cake to check inside.
While we are still waiting for the fondant to come out, would you like to tell us something about the 9-month program?
Oh yes, of course. So we have a 9-month program in the school, and it starts, we have 3 levels. We start from the basic to the intermediate, and then we have advanced. So you'll start learning just the basics. So if you don't have any kind of knowledge of pastry, you're worried, you don't worry. You come inside, we teach you how to hold a spatula, how to spread a cake, how to properly use a whisk, how to use the KitchenAid. Once you get to our intermediate level, then we're gonna start doing more. You know how to use everything, you know how to use a spatula. We're gonna start teaching you more on more intermediate level recipes, different kind of techniques, way to decorate the cake, how to serve things. And then when you get to the advanced level, then just like it says, it's going to be more advanced. We show you the more modern ways of presenting, different ways to do the same things that you did in basic. So when you're in basic, you're making one kind of cake or bread. We saw only one way to do this. In the intermediate and advanced, we show you another, more faster, more easier, also more productive way to do things. And also, as well as the presentation and the flavors get more complicated as you go on. By the time that you finish the program, you're more than well equipped. Okay, if you really want, you're ready to go out, work in a hotel, work in a bake shop, open your own kind of place. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and you have the support from us after you leave as well to go out and do whatever you want to do. I don't know many other schools that you can do this in 9 months and get it done. When I went to school, I went back in the United States. It took me 3 years to finish my pastry and culinary degrees because I had to do math and science and all these things, but I just wanted to go out and make cake. I wanted to make bread. If I had done that 2 years sooner, I could have been 2 years ahead. So the good thing about the program is you learn what you need to learn in just the right amount of time. The sooner that you get out, the more sooner you can start working and building your career. Okay, so you can come and check the cake. Sorry, I just put in maybe just 1 more minute. You can see the top is still very liquid. I could take it out, but then I run the risk of maybe breaking. So just 30 more seconds, 1 more minute, just to be safe. And like I said, it really depends upon your oven, the fan speed, how cold the cake was when it starts. I did one of these in the same oven a bit earlier. I baked about 12 minutes. But then as the cake got colder in the refrigerator than it was an hour ago, you're gonna see it's gonna take 1 or 2 more minutes longer. So now it's gonna be about 15 minutes in total when I remove it.
Chef Angelo, would like to tell you something about the intensive program. I know that you guys are doing a lot of intensive programs, 3 days classes. What exactly is the intensive program?
So intensive, we have a month-long program broken down into 3-day sessions. So 3 days, maybe we'll be doing ice cream. The next 3 days, we'll be moving on to chocolate. The next 3 days, we'll be moving on to travel cakes. So it's really good for people that are actually in the workforce or that don't have time to maybe come to the full 9-month program. You can learn a lot very fast. Now, the program for the intensive, it does go much faster than our full 9-month program. So you will have a chance to learn, but it's going to be at a faster rate as well. So you do learn all the topics. All right, so now we can go ahead and we can do. So now I'm going to take our fondant cake. I'm going to lift it up with an offset spatula and place it onto the plate. I'm going to remove the paper from the bottom first, and I can position the cake where I want to position it. And I'm going to gently remove the ring. Put a little bit of crumble here. followed by paper. Now very carefully remove the paper so you don't break. Just like this. So when we break the cake open, it should have a nice molten center.
Are you going to eat it or are you going to share with us also?
Oh, you guys can share. I'm pretty sure my wife watching this. I don't want to eat too many pastry and get more fat. But anyways, that's it. It's very, very simple. You can see, only be careful the baking and then the removing, but everything else, 5 simple ingredients, very easy to do. If I wasn't talking, I'm sure you could finish this maybe 10, 15 minutes at home. Easy to do. And that's it. Bon appetit. Very nice.
Any message would you like to give to the students who want to take pastry or culinary as a career?
Yes, it's a really great career. I really enjoyed it. I can say that I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I've thought of many careers, and I know a lot of parents maybe going to say, or a lot of people think, oh, it's just a chef. It's not a illustrious career. But nowadays, chefs are rock stars. Thanks to Food Network and Instagram, it's definitely, it's more than it used to be. We're not back of the house anymore. We're YouTubers, influencers, TV show hosts. You can do anything. And if you're doing it while you love it, I mean, you can't get anything more better than that. So I really hope that I can see our students come back. I really miss you guys. And I can't wait to see some more students come and learn the craft. And until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy any more videos that we have to come. So thank you very much. I hope you guys make this at home. Tag me on Instagram.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.